Welcome back to another episode of Ghosts of England. Today we check out 12 real ghost reports from the county of Oxfordshire. Number 1. Ashdown House. For many years, people that have visited Ashdown House in Ashbury have heard the phantom cries of a child coming from within the trees on the grounds. Other visitors have seen the ghost of a groom that committed suicide by hanging in the stables. And from the second floor, a lady in grey is said to gaze out of the window. So, a lovely place to visit if you like ghostly visitations. Number 2. Poltergeist of Banbury. Well, this next report is from a couple that lived in a private house in Banbury that were tormented by a ruthless poltergeist over a 2-year period from 1969 to 1970. Hearing footsteps walking around the house was a normal event for the couple, but it was by far the least of their worries. On one occasion, a room was literally turned upside down by an invisible force. And on another occasion, the solid wooden trapdoor to the attic lifted by itself to a 45-degree angle for several minutes before dropping back down. The couple eventually had the house blessed to get rid of the ghostly inhabitants, but in the end decided to move out of the house themselves, as they didn't want to hang around long enough to see if the blessing was unsuccessful. Number 3. The Wardrobe. A seriously terrifying report from Mrs. Barclay from 1937. Mrs. Barclay 3 years previously had brought a wardrobe that she brought back to Carterton Manor. That was when her nightmare began. Over the next 3 years, Mrs. Barclay started to get the feeling that things weren't quite right with her new wardrobe. To begin with, the doors would start opening and closing by itself. She found that even if she tied the handles of the wardrobe together with string, when she came back the string would be on the floor and pulled apart. Eventually, the figure of an old man would be seen throughout the house, all bent over and crooked. She eventually put the wardrobe up for sale, and once it was out of the house for good, the ghostly activity and visitations stopped. Number 4. White Woman. The crossroads close to Linham Longbarrow in Churchill is said to be haunted by a phantom woman in white. It is believed that she was an old woman that once lived in a nearby cave that watched over a hoard of treasure. My only question is the treasure still there, and if I find it, do I get to keep it? Number 5. Sarah Fletcher. Since 1854 onwards at the Courtier's house in Clifton Hampton, the spirit of Sarah Fletcher has been seen wandering the grounds and building, dressed in black with a purple ribbon in her hair. Sarah met a tragic end when she committed suicide during a bout of depression. It is believed that her husband's infidelity had a hand to play in that emotional state. Number 6. The Bottom Prada. At the Plough Public House in Clifton Hampton, there is a ghostly visitor that lets himself be known in many inconvenient ways. Doors have flung open with no apparent reason, and people have felt their bottoms being prodded by an invisible entity. But perhaps the oddest thing on this report is that the ghost is known for making unearthly sound effects. I'm honestly not sure what is meant by that, but perhaps maybe 1 or 2 people ripped out a loud one and blamed the ghost on it. Fair game, I usually blame the ninja dog. Number 7. Amy Robsart. A really old report now from the now demolished Cumnor place. These reports predate 1810. The spirit of Amy Robsart was often seen stood on the top of the staircase in which she met her end. The mystery surrounding her death was heavily debated. Did she jump, or was she pushed by her husband? I guess we'll never really know the truth behind the tragedy. Number 8. The Runaway Horse. On the 14th of January 2006, around 9 PM, 2 people while driving down into Denchworth spotted a panicked horse run out from a side road in front of the car. The driver immediately slammed on the brakes and dimmed the lights as to not frighten the horse even more. But as the lights were eventually put back on, they saw the horse running away from the car and very quickly vanishing in front of their eyes. Number 9. The Crying Woman. At the George Hotel in Dorchester-on-Thames, the ghostly manifestation of a woman in distress has often been seen in the room known as the Vicar's Room. The last sighting of this phantom was in 1968 when she was seen crying at the bottom of a 4-poster bed. Because when you're sleeping in a bed, a crying woman is exactly what you want to see. Fills you full of those happy dreams. Number 10. Smoky Woman. At a private residence in Forest Hill, a woman reported in 1993 that while sitting on her porch, she witnessed a cloud of smoke emerge from her wall and transform into the body of a woman. The face and lower arms were not visible, but the body wore a flowery dress and white top. After taking a few steps, the figure turned back into smoke and returned back into the wall. Number 11. Hunched Monk. The Bull Inn, located in Henley-on-Thames, has the ghostly apparition of a monk that can be seen hunched over while stood over beds. The monk is also believed to be behind a strong smell of burning candles that can be smelt around the bar area. And finally for this episode, number 12. The Peglegged Man. This report I saved to last because it actually made me laugh. Allow me to explain. The village of Iveley was haunted late at night by the ghostly scraping of a false leg being dragged across the floor. The townspeople came up with a solution, so they paid an old man to get rid of the noisy spirit. But the man ended up drinking so much Dutch courage that he was arrested by the police for being drunk and disorderly before he could perform the exorcism. A rather funny end to the report, I think. That's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe.